Oh man, thanks to that stupid beer bug going around, Sundays haven't felt this empty since, well, since Jeff Gordon retired.
I wouldn't know, but I feel bad for all the old people in retirement homes who have that shit. Rip Celestia and Luna.
I gotta start educating all of you here, but what are you implying? Sure, Luna and Celestia might technically be old, but they don't look a day over 30.
I just meant that they're in a retirement home.
Well, they are retired. Sure, I can agree that two powerful and almost godlike alicorns spending their silver years in a retirement home is a little bumming, but I think they've earned some peace and relaxation.
I agree, but I don't know why it's in an actual retirement home. And also, you can be old as fuck and just not look it. Like moi.
Okay. I can only guess that the writers felt like Luna and Celestia deserved a calm community to spend their later years in, though if it were up to me, I thought them traveling all across Equestria together would have been better. But come on, it's not like they didn't deserve a retirement, right?
Funny enough, I had the same idea, though I'm guessing there's a lot of people who think they don't deserve it.
Why would they think that? The two both ruled for thousands of years. Even with Luna being imprisoned for a millennia, she still had one hell of a long run ruling Equestria side by side with her sister.
Let's delve deeper into this and see if they do deserve it. Educate all these folks.
Well, might as well. At least it's not going to be as difficult trying to explain why Discord's twist reveal was fantastic.
We're probably on different sides on that one. But yeah, let's talk. Man, I'm getting into all sorts of channels lately.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, man. You haven't seen all the art and collabs I'm in lately? This is awesome. But yeah, let's talk details. I agree with what you said earlier. I mean, these bitches worked for so many years, and even though Luna was banished for what, 1,000 years? There's the implement that the sisters worked together for longer than that before her banishment. The only thing I don't like about this is they just thrusted this on Twilight without a choice. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it did kinda come out of nowhere for Twilight, but who really didn't see it coming? After Twilight and her friends saved Equestria from being doomed countless times, and taught the Student Six enough about friendship that they played a pivotal role in foiling Cozy Glow, it was only a matter of time before Twilight was gonna step up and rule all of Equestria. Not to mention, she was Celestia's personal student since she was a child, and discovered her destiny as the element of magic. I mean, this has been building since the series premiered, and it even mirrors the Season 3 finale where Twilight becoming an alicorn was thrust upon her, and it took all of Season 4 for her to grasp and accept the magnitude of what was being asked of her. Just like it took all of Season 9 for Twilight to come to terms with being the highest ruler in Equestria.
Yeah, but just getting wings, I can't see being compared to ruling over so many people, you know? Regardless, it was only a matter of time before the sisters stepped down because of everything working for so long. So the question is, why do people think they don't deserve it? Is it because they thrusted this responsibility to Twilight, or how much they're incapacitated in the show?
Yeah, but like I said, Season 9 was used to prepare her for it, so I really don't have a problem with it. It's not like they ditched her in the season premiere and left for the retirement home right then and there. Anyway, even if people use the argument of how many times Luna and Celestia were incapacitated in the show by several villains, wouldn't that also mean they should want the two to be away from the throne room? If these people say they haven't deserved it because of how many times the sisters were defeated and captured, then what makes them think they should continue to rule only for Twilight and her friends or even their own students to bail them out? Clearly this meant that they were nearing the end of their tenure and they made the right decision for the safety and welfare of Equestria.
Boom. Very well put. Thing is, them getting defeated is only a writing mechanic so the heroes can overcome the obstacle made from the byproduct of said mechanic. But if you were to put a narrative to the logic you provided, it really does make sense. It could play out like, sister, you ever think we're just out of our prime? Yeah. Twilight!
And let's not forget, there's been a fan theory being passed around for several years where bronies speculate that Celestia's powers have slowly been weakening from being the sole ruler for 1,000 years straight, which is what they used to explain why Chrysalis was able to overpower her in Canterlot Wedding Part 2. Now, if we borrow this theory and combine it with her retirement announcement, it makes sense that at least Celestia acknowledges she's not of much use anymore beyond giving words of advice and encouragement and passing her knowledge of running Equestria to Twilight. You know, just like Yoda in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi could in no way fight side by side with Luke Skywalker against the Emperor and Darth Vader, but he could at least still help train Luke physically and mentally with the Force and guide him away from the pull of the dark side. As for Luna, even if we take into consideration that she didn't utilize a lot of her magic during her banishment to the moon, she still aged 1,000 years, so she's certainly no spring chicken, and perhaps being 1,000 years out of commission did have a negative impact on her defensive abilities.
I don't do theories, but the aging is still true, and even if only a few, we do see the ridiculous shit they have to go through. They were just done. Pure and simple. Pretty sure everyone can agree on that being a reason alone, especially with their track record. Knowing this record helps it too, when you realize there were heroes back in their day with defeating Discord, Sombra, Tyrek, and for Celestia by herself with Nightmare Moon. Eventually the main six will have to go through this too, not in leadership, but in heroics. We all know who will probably be the replacements too.
True, and even though they were easily taken care of at several points in the show, they still tried to help hold Sombra back in the beginning of the end. However, I really like the way the show illustrated this by having them require help from others like Star Swirl or even Twilight any elements of Harmony when Tyrek, Chrysalis, and Cozy Glow supercharged themselves in the ending of the end. It was a good way to show that while they may have cleaned up problems like Discord or Tyrek or Sombra in the past, and they're still willing to try to defend their kingdom, the two are just not in their prime anymore. It was honestly time for them to step down and hand the reins over to Twilight, and the show proved this to us instead of just telling us. And sure, it would have been nice to see them fully when they were more capable of handling powerful villains such as Discord instead of in flashbacks, but the show began where it began, 1,000 years after Luna was banished. So, we just saw the tail end of the sisters' rule during the show's run, and that's just how it happened.
Yeah, from a writing perspective, it really is the best way to show this, even if their existence makes people question Alicorn lore all the time. I do like how they continued the idea of an Alicorn ruler by entrusting this job to Twilight. Even though a born unicorn is now an Alicorn, the strengths and weaknesses of all three tribes are personified into one. And now it really is one instead of the two sisters. I do like the touch they did where they fused their crowns together. And despite this not being planned from the beginning, symbolically it's perfect. Twilight ruling in the stead of the sun and moon, good touch.
Yeah, that is a nice visual touch. Also, when it comes to retirement, I think one of the things that helped me not have an issue with it is I'm a NASCAR fan. Retirements are just a natural thing for me to see since I've had to bear witness to several drivers saying goodbye to the sport. The biggest one for me was Jeff Gordon's retirement in 2015. Sure, it felt like it came out of nowhere when he announced it at the beginning of the season, but seeing as how he had been in the sport for 22 years at that point, the suddenness of his announcement gradually wore off. And true, Luna and Celestia's retirement declaration did feel sudden as well, but the more I thought about it, the more it felt like the timing was just right. I know this is a TV show and not real life, so some build-up or hints to it would have been appreciated, but looking at the two's history and all the shit they've gone through, plus being at it for thousands of years apiece, it really made sense, especially since, like we've already established, the two were just losing their edge and it was simply time to relinquish their hold on the thrones. I loved how enthusiastic they were about getting back into the action and doing what they could to help, like in the season premiere and Between Dark and Dawn. But at the same time, the show was greatly illustrating that despite their drive and willingness to jump into action, they just weren't going to be of much help alone. I mean, at least it's not like we ended Season 8 with them ruling and began Season 9 with Twilight ruling. That would have been far too unbelievable and contrived. And I'm actually glad that their retirement was gradually dealt with all throughout Season 9 until the finale where they relinquished the throne to Twilight.
Very true. In life, we tend to forget that these people of high authority, no matter the occupation, are, for lack of a better word, human as well. They had their time and now they will step down. There is two types I'd see. Forced retirement and willingness. They made this choice that they're ready to do so and had someone they could trust their home to. They are clearly the latter. This also brings to mind how ready they are to give the power up in general, which they can say a lot about a persona. A contrast to this is someone who can't let go of their past glory and will do anything to keep that past glory turned fantasy alive.
Fine, you caught me. I did it. I did what I had to do to protect my record. Sometimes you gotta play dirty to be the best.
Exactly. I'd prefer that Luna and Celestia go out with their dignity intact instead of acting selfishly by continuing to lead to make themselves feel important. And I get we've even said that they were frequently defeated by villains of the show, but they just couldn't up and retire after, say, the T-Rex incident or Chrysalis' second invasion. Twilight was not ready to take the throne then, so who are they going to leave Equestria to? Blue blood? Sure, their time was waning, but they still went out with a bang by entrapping Cozy Glow, Chrysalis, and T-Rex, with the help of Discord of course, in stone before calling it quits. Despite their hunger to return to action, as Luna said, they did what they needed to do as leaders and yet still bowed out gracefully. I mean, their situation is perfectly described in the lyrics of Def Leppard's song Rock of Ages. It's better to burn out than fade away, which I believe the sisters did perfectly.
Despite them going to a retirement home, who knows? What if they also traveled the world fighting evil after their brief stay in the retirement home? Or maybe they just stick around.
Okay, yeah, that's one criticism of their retirement that I don't really have a solid argument for. Although, they still went out fighting off Cozy, Chrysalis, and T-Rex after Starlight helped them escape the villains, so I would argue they still went out burning before they bowed out gracefully. However, just because that's where they live now, it doesn't mean they can't go off and travel around the land they helped shape and rule for thousands of years. Plus, like you said, they can help fight back evil that they either stumble across or if Twilight and her friends message them for help. I mean, despite being very old, they don't look it physically, so they can still have the energy to assist in fighting back bad guys every now and then before taking trips to certain parts of Equestria, Griffinstone, the Crystal Empire, etc.
Throughout their lives, they have done things no other pony has ever thought of. Who knows what they have seen, the battles they fought, the people they met, the people they've lost. Despite being fictional characters, whether cartoon or novel or game, it all falls to speculation regardless of intent from the creator, a form of death of the author. And regardless of said intent, I believe without a doubt that these two sisters have indeed earned their retirement. Now, Twilight will experience similar things in her reign, or maybe something entirely different, but their story is done, and it's all up to her to face these challenges without our viewing eye, and I think that's just grand.
And let's not forget the stress, trauma, and heartache they've had to suffer again and again for thousands of years. Things like constantly keeping their citizens safe, horrendous battles with villains like Discord and Sombra, and also having to outlive friends they grew close to. Even though clearly they weren't becoming much help anymore in the physical sense, I still think we and most people have to remember their psyches and just how much mental strain they've both had to go through, and I just believe they both realized that A, Twilight was ready to take the next step and rule Equestria, and B, they had to step down from the mental strain of it all.
In other words, fuck this, I'm out. Well, what a talk. Never analyzed something like this. I think I had fun with this.
I did too. Even though I didn't initially plan for a video like this. Well, thanks for the time, Epic. I've got another project to work on that I've been saving for a while.
Same. If I ever get to it.
I'm MrLeftTurn. I'll see you when I get back from the track.